My name is Jodie and I am a colon cancer survivor / thriver, I like to call myself now. It's been 3 years since my stage 3B colon cancer diagnosis. I was diagnosed in the hospital in an oncological emergency, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I want everyone to know out there so that we can help more people. I was 47 years old, healthy, worked out every day, ate what I thought was healthy food, salad, lean protein. I did have a couple of glasses of wine every night, but nothing excessive. And 6-year-old twins who needed me. I was running a business, so I was a very busy mum, wife, and business owner. And I started getting some pretty weird symptoms happening about 9 months before my diagnosis. I'm going to tell you what those are. And this is the part where I tell you we have to get over talking about poop. Everybody does it. It's not a comfortable conversation, but these are the biggest signs and symptoms and indications come from your gut if you're going through colon cancer. So, about 9 months before, I started experiencing pretty severe abdominal cramping, mostly at nighttime after a big meal. And I would go home and lie down on the couch and try and let it subside and do what I could to help with the cramping, and eventually it would go away. So I'd get up and go about my day. Now in the beginning, this happened every couple of weeks. Towards the end, it was happening much more frequently. And the other thing that was a very big warning sign was the change in my bowel movements. Yeah, okay, this is where it gets kind of weird and awkward. But I did have a lot of indications after being such a regular person and going once a day at the same time. Everything changed. The consistency, the size. I felt like I could never really fully empty my bowels. And I would go from having what I call pencil poops, long and skinny, to deer pellets, to diarrhea, lots of constipation. And I just stopped having normal poops. So one of the big things was that I actually didn't see blood. I used to eat a lot of beets, and as we all know, they can turn your poop pink, and maybe they camouflaged when I had blood, but I didn't see obvious blood. And I think that would have been my biggest indicator to go to the doctor, but it was the middle of COVID, and I decided that it was probably something like IBS, colitis. My mother developed colitis in her 60s, so maybe I was developing it too. Or maybe it was a food intolerance. Nope, none of those things. So when I got to the hospital, it was because I'd had a 3-day bowel obstruction in excruciating pain. I could not stand up. I was keeled over in the fetal position. I was in excruciating pain. And I went to the emergency room and demanded to be seen. I did spend 3.5 hours in triage waiting. That wasn't good. But they put me on a morphine drip, and by the time they got me in for x-ray and I got my results, it was probably over 8 or 9 hours. The doctor did tell me at the time that I confirmed had a bowel obstruction and that I had to drink 4 liters of Colite and go home and wait for that to resolve. But that didn't happen. I did go home. By the time I got home and the morphine had worn off, I literally thought my insides were going to explode, because now not only did I have a 3-day bowel obstruction, I also had 4 liters of Colite sitting on top of it. So back to the hospital, back to emergency, demanded to be seen. I was screaming the triage room down, and I got in right away. They ordered a CT scan. 3 hours later, I got that scan. 45 minutes after that, I was delivered the news that I had cancer. It was hard to comprehend. I didn't believe it. I thought, there's no way I have cancer. I'm 47, no one in my family has cancer, and I'm sure that this is just a food intolerance, and whatever it is, it's not cancer. Sadly, it turned out it was cancer, and it was stage 3B colon cancer. I went into immediate surgery. It was an urgent emergency surgery because they were worried that my bowels were going to rupture, and if that happened, we'd have an even bigger problem on our hands. So the next thing I know, there was about 9 medical professionals in the room, and I was beginning to learn about ostomy bags and what it might be like when I woke up with a poop bag attached to me. Was told that there was about a 50% chance that would happen. And I was learning about ostomy bags. I had 3 days of no sleep. I was delirious. I literally thought I was having an out-of-body experience and none of this could be happening and that this was a nightmare and I was going to wake up. So I did wake up. I spent 9 days in hospital recovering. I had an open surgery. I've got a big zipper line up my tummy because I had an open surgery, and they removed 1.5 feet of my bowel, including the tumor that had actually decimated my colon and eaten its way right through to the outside of my colon. No wonder I was having so much pain. They also took a sample of my lymph nodes and confirmed with pathology that I was metastatic to the lymph nodes and that I would need to start a very intense round of chemotherapy immediately. So that's what we did. We started chemotherapy. It was something I hope nobody has to experience, which is why I am sharing my story and telling you all what to look for, so that, and what to educate and what to talk about, so that we can start preventing other people having to go down this similar path. Now, the unfortunate about colon cancer is that often you don't get signs and symptoms until you are in quite an advanced stage of cancer. Now, that being said, had I advocated in the beginning when I was getting very strange abdominal cramping that wasn't typical, maybe I could have downgraded myself a stage. Maybe I wouldn't have needed to have as intensive chemotherapy. But I ended up having 8 months of treatment. It was rough. It was rough for our family. It was rough for my kids. I had to have my mother come and live with us because I was pretty much incapable of getting my kids to school and picking them up from school. And there were days that I honestly did think I was going to die. The chemo was killing me. But I had to have faith in the medical system. And I did a combination of traditional treatments and alternative treatments with a naturopathic oncologist, or an onco-naturopath. He was amazing. He was my savior, and he got me through the roughest parts of my treatment. And here I am. It's been 3 years. I've been cancer-free for 2.5 years, almost 2.5 years. And I have to tell you that there's a new normal in my life, and I really enjoy the new normal, but I've made major lifestyle changes to get to this point. So spread the word. Hashtag check your poo. Check your poo all the time. If you're starting to have weird, strange symptoms, then you need to talk to your doctor. You need to insist on a fit test, and you go from there. But really listen to your body. As a woman, we have a lot of trouble listening to our body and deciding on, are we the priority? And we are the priority. It's not period cramps if you're feeling some of these unusual things. It could be other things, but you've got to get it checked out, because we can save lives by talking about this and advocating for it and listening to stories of people like myself who have gone through it. And I am, not the typical candidate for colon cancer, and we're seeing colon cancer on the rise in this country, incredibly high with young people. And I just have 4 friends right now, all in their 40s, going through treatment, and I am able to now support them. But I hope that you all can spread this word and talk to people. And if you're having any kind of symptoms, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to be a resource. And if you're going through colon cancer right now, have hope and faith, and you're gonna make it. Make some great lifestyle changes, and I'll see you on the Thriver side.